Alright guys, this video is just going to be a quick breakdown of the front rack position when you're doing front squats to avoid as much wrist pain as possible. So a lot of the time when people are very first starting out with this movement, they're getting a lot of wrist pain. Now that can come from just conditioning to the movement, but 90% of the time it's because you're getting too much load in your wrist. So a lot of the time you're holding onto the bar too much instead of letting it sit on your shoulders. So there's a lot of load in that wrist, and also it's bending at the same time. So it's just in a really bad position to be loaded up. So a few key areas when you're getting into the front rack position. Okay, your hands should be just outside shoulders. They shouldn't be in closer, they shouldn't be any wider. Wider will just create more mobility issues, and closer will just jam everything up and you just won't be able to get in a good position. When it's up at the shoulders, right, your elbows should be driven as high as possible, trying to get them horizontal or parallel with the ground. This takes a lot of the load off the wrist because it reduces that angle that we've got them on. Rather than down here, you have to have more of an angle on your wrist, right? Rather than bring it up here, it'll reduce that angle a little bit more. And then the last thing, with the elbows up nice and high, you want to be making sure the bar is actually sitting on your shoulders and you're taking the load with your shoulders, not with a full grip of the bar and taking all the load through your wrists. To check that, can you just put your hands out in front of you? This is where it should be sitting. You'll feel that nice groove in between your shoulders, your muscles in your shoulders and up against your neck. It should be able to sit in that position and still do a squat. That's the most optimal position to be in. Okay, so just looking from the side here, hands just outside the shoulders, bar is down on my shoulders, like it's taking the load, and my elbows are up nice and high. Now the last thing that you can do just to reduce that load on your wrist a little bit more is just let go. Don't have a full grip on the bar, and you'll find you'll be able to get your elbows up higher as well. So let it roll into the back of your fingers. You don't need a full grip. There's no reason to. You can even do it without even holding on to the bar. Right? Just let it roll into the back of your fingers and you can sit in that position. The better you get at it, the more of a grip you can actually hold on to the bar, and it's in a much more stable position because you're actually pushing it into yourself rather than just letting it sit there. But the weight should be on your shoulders. And yes, you'll probably get bruises on your collarbones if you're doing it a fair bit. Now, ways that we try to improve this. With that high elbow position, if you can't get your elbows up nice and high, a lot of the time it's because you got stupidly tight lats. So there's a fair few different mobility drills that we can do and just implement into your warm-ups every single day, and you'll get some drastic results just doing 5 minutes worth every day. You'll get some good results within a couple of weeks. So very first thing you can do, and it's the most specific one, instead of having the bar at the back, at the front, have the bar at the back, have it set up in a squat rack and with some weight on it so it's not going to move around, and have it still sitting on the actual J hooks, and just drive your elbows up. Try to get your elbows up, holding like a full grip on this bar. Now when I'm doing it, again, I'm keeping my core stable. I'm not allowing it to break and getting the mobility through my lower back. And keep my core stable, and I'm driving those elbows up, forward and up. That's one of the best stretches that I've found has improved my front rack position. But other things that you can do, targeting the lats, you can use one of the resistance bands, attach it to a pull-up bar, drop down and get a big stretch in the lats, moving your position of your hands, facing you, facing away, just really open up that lat area. You can do hangs, like passive hangs on a bar, so just jump up on a bar, and I've found if you do palms facing you, that stretches the lats the most. And you can also do mobility stuff with a roller. So just rolling with the roller all up the side of your lats and up the back end of your arm will really open it up as well. Other things to help with it as well, not just the lats, but when you're on the roller, you can just do some thoracic mobility stuff and other thoracic mobility drills. But yeah, big ones with this, hands just outside the shoulders. When you got it up in the rack position, your elbows are up nice and high. the bar is actually sitting in the rack position with the weight on your shoulders, not in your wrists. And if you need to, just let that bar roll back into the tips of your fingers rather than having a full grip on it. What you want to avoid is having a full grip on the bar, your elbows down, and all of the load in your hands rather than on your shoulders. That is when you're going to stuff your wrists, and that's when you're going to run into problems rather than getting all those good positions to avoid it all. Right guys, hopefully this helps you out. Let me know if you've got any questions.